Hi, I'm Joni Patry, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Well, today I want to talk about August. What can we expect in this month of August? You know, I was so relieved to be out of July, but we're still not out of the water, and I could probably say that literally in August, because what we're looking at here in the month of August is we still got some treacherous aspects ahead. Now, I will give you a little vision here that it is going to get better. September, we do have eclipses, but it still isn't. These are partial eclipses. They're not really bothering me that much, but I will give you this hope that things will get better by October. That's where I see the tides finally changing. So let's dig in here and see what we still have in store for us, looking at this month of August. And you see, August, we still have this difficult aspect, and we actually have this on and off where Neptune and Saturn are so tightly conjunct, really all the way through next year. Through around, I'd say, March of 2026. But right now it is so intense because they are within a degree of each other. And remember, Saturn can deal with difficulty, karma, and Neptune's what we can't see. We still have this aspect going on. So let me say this before I continue on. I want to remind everyone, if you sign up for my free newsletter, you will get all of these dates and everything I'm saying printed out and delivered to your email address free. So go to galacticcenter.org, sign up for my free newsletter. While you're at my website, take a look at my Patreon. You can become part of our spiritual community. We talk live every week, and it is definitely like-minded people, and it is really just a community of people to discuss what's going to be happening in the world. So look at that Patreon, as well as my galactic planner. I am so proud of my galactic planner. These are write-ups that I have done for all of the planets' transits. And I've had help writing the dashas, but we have everything in this galactic planner for you personally to look at your own chart. Your own chart. You will be amazed. It will give you your chart and all of the aspects that you can expect to be happening, and it's all in your calendar, so you will be prepared. So go to galacticplanner.com. And last but not least, I am beginning my astrology semester 1. If you want to learn Vedic astrology, become my student. Join the University of Vedic Astrology.com and become my student. You will learn how to read a chart. You will learn astrology. So get going with that. Let me continue on with what we can expect with August, because again, I feel like we can't see what's coming. Neptune completely blinds us, but I'm going to try to make sense of what's coming, but do recognize Neptune has its way of blinding us. So I'm looking at August 7th through the 9th. This is intense. And actually it is on August 8th that we have a critical aspect happening. And remember, when I give you these exact days, it's always around this time. It can be within this week. So it is like the dead-on date that I'm looking at. Mars will be opposed Saturn is actually August 8th. It could happen that whole week or even days right after. But let me tell you what I see with this. This August 8th will be where Mars opposes Saturn-Neptune. Remember, Saturn is exactly conjunct Neptune right now. This is what's caused all these horrific floods all over the world, and especially here in Texas. It is so heartbreaking and sad, tragic what's going on with the loss of life here. And it's way too close to home for me right now. But talking about this Saturn-Neptune, this is so deep. It sits at 7 degrees, 6 degrees. What is that? That is conjunct that fixed star sheet of sorrow. We are experiencing deep sorrow around the world with floods and catastrophic events. It's not just this flood here. It's everywhere. Now, another thing that's going on, actually at the time of the full moon, which is on the 9th, it is quite a spectacular configuration I see with the planets. Let me explain. I am seeing where, first of all, Mars opposes the Saturn-Neptune. That in and of itself represents something huge is about to happen concerning oil and gas. Saturn rules crude oil, Neptune rules gas and oil. Whenever Mars aspects Neptune, I have found historically that fuel prices go way up. Why would they go way up? I think it's probably something to do with the channels that ship the oil could be closed. This would prevent the world from getting the fuel they need. And or there can be explosive events around oil and gas, possibly even with oil wells or tankers or pipelines. I've been talking about this for a long time. The problem is with Neptune, you can't see where it is. But I have to say, it should have something to do with the oceans, the waters as well. So this is what we're looking at in August and probably late July too, because remember that Mars K2 has really enticed everyone to get heated up and angry. And the result of Mars opposing the Saturn-Neptune is explosive. Now, all at the same time, when we have this full moon, we're going to have an incredible configuration of a grand Earth trine. Remember, I do Vedic astrology, not Western tropical, so these planets are in Earth signs. And what I'm looking at is Mars, being in Virgo, is casting a perfect trine to Pluto, being in Capricorn, and both Mars and Pluto are casting a perfect trine to Uranus. They're all within the degree orb of around 6, 7 degrees, 8 degrees of a grand Earth trine. So you will see they are exactly trining each other. Now, Pluto trining Uranus means transformational events that happen suddenly, unexpectedly, that will change the world. This can definitely deal with some type of earthquake activity. Yes, I've been talking about that for so long. And actually it deals with the planet. The planet is fighting back. Mother Earth is not happy with us. It's probably all the rain. It's probably the floods. And it has everything to do with the earth shaking too. But oil and gas are an issue this month. That's one thing I'll say. But Pluto rules transformational, huge events. Uranus is sudden, unexpected, and shocking. And Mars is always a trigger. Mars makes things happen, and it's usually not pleasant. Mars is a trigger for violence, attacks, and sudden events of all kinds. So we have to really be careful and cautious still this month, because let me tell you something else. We are moving into hurricane season with this Neptune-Saturn conjunction representing problems with the oceans, the seas, water. And with Neptune, Saturn being still on the fixed star sheet of sorrow, we have more to come. I look so forward to be out of this terrible season of tragedy on planet Earth right now. But let me just say that there is a deep sadness also. There's another reason why I'm seeing sadness. Jupiter and Venus now are transiting together in Gemini, in the nakshatra Ardra. Ardra is the storm god. The storms are not over. Ardra's the storm god. Ardra is ruled by Rudra, which is the storm god, and it's said to be of the howling winds. This is Ardra. Now, another thing is, Ardra's symbol is a teardrop. So there's more sadness, there's more flooding, there's more problems with incredible storms to be had here. Let me just remind you, to give you an idea, Jupiter does not do well in Gemini, particularly in Ardra. One of the times it was in Ardra was September 11, 2001. Think of the sadness that surrounded that time period. So now I want to talk about what's coming up with Mars being in Virgo. Now, let me just say, as Mars was in Leo for the past couple of months, it stirred up so much anger, so much hate, so much cruelty. We're still reeling from this. There is so much anger in the world. And now that Mars is in Virgo, Virgo's about health and healing, and Mars being here means there's a need for health and healing. So you got that right. I'm talking there's a possibility of another health epidemic. Hopefully it's not another pandemic, please, but it could indicate this. And furthermore, if it's not another problem with disease, which it very well can be, because let me remind you, Mars is opposing Neptune, and Neptune rules disease. Mars is in Virgo, the need for health. Please strengthen your immune system. Please get strong, because if this isn't another health scare, it could be a really bad flu season. Mars will trigger this with its aspect to Neptune. That is going on this whole entire month. But as Mars exactly opposes Neptune around the full moon, September 8th and 9th. This is critical. Watch out. See what's going on with this. Okay, so let's move forward And let's talk about the August 11th. This is good news, or is it? We'll see. August 11th, Mercury turns direct. And it is transiting around 10 degrees of Cancer. And one thing that this can indicate, thinking of placing this retrograde, and that means Mercury's going back and forth in the sign of Cancer, this can indicate a need for protection. And with all of the hostility arising on planet Earth, we have got some reasons to protect our countries and protect ourselves. Everything about protection. And even when I place this Mercury going back and forth in the sign of Cancer, that means it's in the 8th house of the United States chart I use. The 8th house deals with scandals. I originally thought it would deal with scandals with finances and money, but we are looking at a new moon this month. And this new moon is very potent. It's going to be August 23rd. And this new moon, let me just tell you, this new moon is at 6 degrees of Leo. This is conjunct the fixed star Regulus, the star of kings and leaders. Remember, this new moon, even though it's not a tight orb, is with K2. This could mean the loss of a leader. With Mercury also being in the 8th house of the United States chart, the 8th house deals with corruption. There can be some major scandals be released on President Trump. I have no doubt this is coming. I mean, with all the Epstein files, do you really think that he's innocent of this? He was best friends with Epstein back in their heyday running around New York. Now, I'm not going to go as far to say he was involved with anything down on Epstein's Island. You can go there if you want, but back in their day, they were friends. And there is a lot of scandals and things that will come out. Now, I have said for years, the truth is going to come out on everyone. And that goes for you in your own life too. So this is what I've been talking about with the truth coming out. The truth needs to come out for everyone. The truth is what heals. And a lot of people that are so politically minded will latch onto this and go crazy and go wild because there's so many people that hate Trump. But let me just say this. This is my firm belief and really my knowing. Everything happens for a reason. So everything that's playing out right now in terms of who's the president and why, and then what will evolve out of this, is here to teach us some really important lessons. And it's all happening for a divine reason. So if you don't like what's going on with who's the president anywhere in the world, think again. Everything is happening for a divine reason. And it may not be nice, but it's a reason that will eventually heal. But at this point in time, all it's really doing is surfacing anger and frustration and rage around the world for everyone. On all accounts, people are angry. People are speaking up about all of this. But let me just go back to Mercury being retrograde and turning direct. It's going to bring out all sorts of scandalous things in the United States. One probably being where a lot of the money's been going, that corruption, and then again, scandalous affairs. In the past 4, more than one president. So it's not only Trump. It could go to Obama. I don't know what what that one's about, but I'm telling you that, as well as the Clintons, all these scandals are due to come out on everyone. The truth is what I mean is coming out. So this is so interesting to me that this new moon happens at 6 degrees of Leo, right on the fixed star of Regulus. And Regulus is the star of kings and leaders. And it's in the nakshatra called Maga. The symbol for this nakshatra is a throne. So the new moon means new things are coming out. And here's another thing that I notice. Saturn sits at 6 degrees of Pisces, while this new moon sits at 6 degrees of Leo. Saturn is in an exact quincunx, that aspect that you always hear me talk about, which deals with endings, accidents, problems. They're in a 6-8-8-6 relationship, which deals with endings and problems and disruption with world leaders. And yes, even the 8th house, where Mercury is doing its number, does deal with death. So all of these things combined with the Mercury going direct and this new moon being exactly conjunct Regulus and in this perfect quincunx to Saturn, meaning it is a major problem and upsets that are coming around the time of this new moon. And so much is to be unraveled while K2 is transiting through the sign of Leo. K2 will be in Leo between now through November of 2026. And what that means is K2 will bring things out. It's in the sign of leaders and rulers. So much is going to come out during this time while we have K2 in this sign. It's not finished this month. There is much more to come. So stay tuned and you're going to find out things to come. Now, one thing I didn't mention that I do want to mention is that where Mars is, while it is in Virgo, I know I said there's the possibility of some kind of health crises coming up, as well as, and let me just say this, Mars will be in Virgo, let me give you these dates, from July 28th through September 13th. This is the time that we could find some health crises, major problems with maybe a new pandemic or a flu season, something with this. But furthermore, looking at this, Mars will be in the 10th house of the United States chart, and it will be crossing over the US Saturn, which means for government affairs, there are some major problems happening. And furthermore, looking at all the charts for different countries, this particular place where Mars is truly affects Putin, Zelensky, so therefore Russia and Ukraine will expect major issues and problems during the time that Mars is in Virgo, which once again is July 28th through September 13th. This is a big deal. You'll see things will get heated up with the war between these two countries. So after all this good news, no, I'm joking, the good news will come by October. There will be peace treaties. There will be a major pause with all of this. And good things, I think, are eventually coming out of all of this. But let me just say this. In Vedic astrology, the planets are called grahas. And what graha actually translate into meaning to take hold of. Therefore, what it actually means are the planets take hold of us. Their energies, what they're about. And they kind of coerce us in many ways. So what I want to say is, knowing this information, it is so valuable because it can definitely help you avert and avoid things by understanding what these planetary energies are all about. Then you know what you're here to avert and avoid. And with the angers, with the fears that the planets are bringing up, you have to choose differently. Don't be part of the anger and the fear. Because when you are, you add fuel to that fire. But the best thing that you can do during this time is, and we all have to come to this place right now in order to help the planet, especially all the grieving people that lost loved ones in these storms in Texas and or all over the world, is come from a place of love and compassion. And I know it's not easy, but this is the challenge, and this is what we must do in order to help heal the planet, because the planet needs healing right now. Be part of the healing energy, the prayer work, the visualization of peace and love and compassion to all that are going through a very difficult time this month of August. So with that, I think I'll close. Remember, if you would like to learn more about me, always you can go to my website. Everything is there. Go to galacticcenter.org. Thank you.